So we are in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 31 through 33. And Paul starts off by saying, for this reason. So we look back and see what reason is Paul talking about when he's about to make the statement he's about to make. And the reason is found in verse 28. Husbands ought to love their wives. The word love there, agapao, which we covered in the last video. Unconditionally love their wives. If you love your wife, you should love your wife as you love yourself. You take care of yourself. You make sure that you're fed and you're drinking water and you've got enough rest, right? And so as you take care of yourself, you should take care of your spouse as well. Because no one hated himself, hated his own body. He took care of it. He ate the things that he wanted to eat, etc., etc. So for this reason, a man shall leave. The word leave there is this word, katalipo, which means abandon. You should, not in a negative way, like, see you suckers, but like you have to leave your mother and father and be joined. The word here is proskolao, be glued to, adhere to your wife, and the two will become one flesh. And so this is an issue that we often see in marriage counseling, is that one of the spouses don't do that. They don't abandon their family. And it's not a negative abandonment, but it's the reality that you are gluing yourself to your spouse. And so your priorities have shifted, and you should do what's best for you as a couple. Now, obviously you got to pray. You got to know what God wants for you and your spouse, you as a unit now, because the two have become one flesh. And so in a good Christian marriage and a good, a healthy spiritual marriage, God will speak to both of you if there's a change, if there's something going on. That is the ideal, and often is what happens. Like, God speaks to both of you in order, like, for a change. If you're going to move somewhere, you're going to change careers, etc. And so we are one flesh because we have left the we've left the ability for our family, our parents, to tell us what to do. This is what you have to do. No, one of the biggest trouble spots in marriage is in-laws. Their influence over the marriage. They want to tell you how to live your life, how to parent your kids, how to spend your money. And it's not bad to take their advice and to receive counsel. In a multitude of counselors, there's wisdom. And so there is a place for asking your parents, hey, what do you think? Like, what's your opinion on this? But you have to be careful, because there are times where our parents will try to manipulate us to get our spouse to do something, and that's not healthy. And so that's one of the reasons why our main priority is no longer to our husband, our father and mother, but it is to our spouse, to our husband or wife. So he says this is a great mystery, Paul is saying in verse 32, but I'm speaking in reference to Christ and the church. So he's giving some good practical advice with husbands and wives, but ultimately the whole point of this passage is trying to help you see how Christ treats the church and how the church should treat Christ, right? That we have to, if we're the bride, if we have joined with him, then we need to abandon all of our former life, all the former ways we did things, and be glued to him. Abandon all the temptations and the addictions and all that stuff, and be glued to him, because we have become one. We are one body, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, all that stuff that Paul has already addressed. And so then he goes back in verse 33. He says, nevertheless, as for you individually, like, I've been talking spiritually, and I've been using this allegory of Christ and the church, but now each husband is to love, agapao, unconditionally love his wife the same as himself, and the wife must see that she respects her husband. So that is Ephesians 5 verses 31 through 33.